I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris. Wow, some water dripping there. It's Chris live in central Pennsylvania on a Sunday morning for Sunday Musings. My apologies to folks who may have tuned in for a broadcast related to financial matters. I direct you to the video I did previously about that that's under the list that's related to the Refugee program. The program we're going to have this morning is not possible, and my apologies for that. This was not clickbait. But as I've warned many of you so many times about your personal situations, you should keep things to yourself about what your intentions are. The world is real, events are real, things happen. So I noticed in the chat before I got started here that there is some misinformation going on. Let's dispense with that right away, the misinformation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you participate in a refugee program to the United States, not to Denmark, not to France, not to whatever, but to the United States, what you're talking about, I hear the conversation over the green cards. You're mistaken. Stop conflating immigration, the visa lottery, permanent residency with the refugee program. All right? So, green card is something you must apply for within the first year of arriving in the United States as per U.S. law. Immigration and Nationality Act 1980 requires you to apply for it, or you will lose your refugee status, potentially. It doesn't say clearly that you will. That's what that's about. If you are a refugee sitting in Chad from Darfur, you will not be required to get a green card to come to America. Whoever told you that is full of it. It is something you are gifted as a consequence of a thorough background check. Okay? All right, and you're granting a refugee status. That's how it works, okay? All right, so let's appreciate people quit spreading false information in my chat. You didn't get it from me. I didn't tell you any false information. I've simply read the law and told you how it is. So I would appreciate people stop doing that. Anyway, so I just want to cover that since I saw several conversations over here about needing it for H-1B or H-2B, H-2A, all these different things. That's not even germane to the conversation. If you're a person who has refugee status, whether you're a Sudanese or a Somali or a Burmese or China national, it really does not matter, folks. It does not matter. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. So let's not spread misinformation. Again, for those who tuned in for financial planning advice, my apologies, but it's not going to be possible to do that today. Things don't always come to fruition the way you like. So let's. It's right. Well, refugees are allowed to work. That's right, on the refugee permit. That's correct. That's why you have to have that status. It's a special status. That's why normally, legally, asylum seekers are not allowed to work. So you have to understand the difference here, folks. You have to understand the difference here. An asylum seeker is someone who has to prove their case, okay? When you come here as a refugee, your case has been proven. You've been proven to be in peril. Your life is in jeopardy. Let's say if you're gay and you're in Damascus and they're throwing homosexuals off of roofs. Your case has been proven or you would not be allowed to come to America. Now, if you defraud the U.S. government through a fraudulent refugee claim, then you can lose it, all right? But when you come here, we've invited you here as a refugee because of your situation. As a consequence, if you're able to, we expect you to work, and therefore you're permitted to work. An asylum seeker is not someone we invited here. We don't ask for asylum seekers to come to America. We don't offer them an opportunity to come here. We simply follow international norms in that if you're in jeopardy and you happen to be in America legally, legitimately, for whatever reason, and you seek asylum, we will give it to you. Kind of like people would run to the church, for sanctuary. Think back in the medieval ages when people would run into the church and seek sanctuary from the priest from what's happening on the street. Except this is more sacrosanct and legally binding than going into a church. So that's the difference. You have to understand the difference between these different programs. It's not immigration. It's not, because if you immigrate here, you can't work until you have status. You have to have approval to work here. If you come here as an asylum seeker, you can't do that. You have to come in the country. There's a, sorry, I get the alert boxes turned off. There's a super chat from Lynette to that. 140 Rand super chat. Thank you for that, Lynette. That's very kind of you. Appreciate you getting the day started with that. Yeah, so if you come here as a legal person for whatever business purpose or whatever's going on. If you enter the country legally, and then you seek asylum, you have an asylum hearing. You go before an asylum court. But the court is not, it's not a part of the court system. It's not a federal judge listening to. It's an adjudicator, essentially, who listens to your case. And as Evan Gelopte told folks, those folks are inclined to look at you as you're guilty until proven innocent. In our judicial system of jurisprudence, you're innocent until proven guilty. I realize not in the court of public opinion, but you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Even innocent people are convicted sometimes, sadly. But the point is that that's your situation. It's opposite. If you're in the country, then you apply for asylum. Over 95, almost 97% of all asylum seekers are fraudulent. There's no legitimate basis for them to have asylum. We reject them, and then they must be deported. The problem is that the Biden regime contorted, confused, misled the world about what asylum is and invited people to come to America and then apply for asylum. Invited them to flood into our country, flew them in at taxpayer expense, dumped them in Harrisburg, dumped them in Albany, dumped them in Tallahassee to destroy the social cohesion and the welfare of our communities with people who have no business being here. They're economic migrants. We do not want economic migrants. Economic migrants are not helpful. Economic migrants depress wages and steal jobs from legitimate citizens in South Africa, in the United States. Therefore, it's not about that. All right? Okay, so, folks, a refugee is someone whose life is in peril. I don't know how many times we need to say that for people to understand it. It is not an immigration program. It is not a dating service. It is not, well, I like it better in Florida than I like it in Durban, so I want to go to Florida. How nice for you. How nice for you. I love the Drakensberg better than I love the Appalachians, but I'm not living in the Drakensberg because I don't have permanent residency in South Africa. I'm a citizen of this country. So you can't just shop for what you want. So here's the situation. Normally a refugee, let's take a case of someone who's fled from Somalia, leaves Somalia, winds up in Kenya. The Kenyans have 650,000 Somalis living in one camp, the largest in the world. These people have been there for over 30 years. Children born there, second, third generations now of people living in those camps. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to go anywhere. They're not allowed to do anything. Botswana has 5,000 Somalis who've been there for 30 years. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to do anything. And so they live off subsistence. And historically, most of that money has come from where? From the American taxpayer, which goes to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. So, in fact, refugees from Somalia, from Rwanda, and from elsewhere in Africa who live in South Africa have been getting funded by United States taxpayers, even though they're not our citizens, they're not our responsibility, they're not even in our country, but we're helping pay for it. And now the South African government is going to have to pony up that money because of the arrogance and obstinance of their politicians in seeking out punishment for themselves by running their mouths about Donald Trump. They should have kept their mouths shut like every other country in the world did. Wait the 90 days to see what happens with the aid. If they weren't so stupid, they would have been bright enough to realize that people would take Trump to court and get a temporary injunction to stop him from stopping that aid, and that likely he could possibly even lose the court case because the money has already been allocated, at least for this fiscal year. Future years, a different story. But politics make strange bedfellows, and the president will have to negotiate the budget for next year, and he'll have to get that included or excluded. If he doesn't want it in there, he's going to have to get concessions, even from Republicans. This is how stupid South African politicians are. But no, they had to make it about themselves and their arrogant asshat egos. Oh, woe is me, woe is me. Trump is picking on us. He's a racist. He's a leader of a global white supremacist movement. He's attacking South Africa. He's none of those things, you stupid, brain-dead meatheads. Should have kept your mouth shut, but now you've put yourself in a situation which I think you want to be in. You want to be in. I'm talking to the politicians, not to my viewers, to the politicians. You've put yourself in a position you want to be in. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? I know you're watching these broadcasts. I know you are, because I know you've talked to my guest. Not because my guests have told me, but because of their actions before they come on the program and after they come on the program. I've seen that. Also the fact that I have several guests I've never announced and they've never come on the program because someone has gotten to them and told them they shouldn't come on the program. What are you so afraid of? The truth. You're afraid of the truth. So, if you had not made this about South Africa, it would not be about South Africa, folks. It would not be about South Africa. But politicians in South Africa chose to do that because they think they're so important. They think they matter so much. You don't. The Cold War's over. There may be a chilly war between China, Russia, and the U.S., but there isn't a Cold War. Get a grip. Get a grip. Get a grip. All right? Okay, so, yeah, anyway, back to where I was at. So, refugees. You come here, whoever comes here, someone from Somalia is in Kenya living there. They register with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. And then at some point, somewhere along the way, some country is willing to take them in. And they're in the queue. They wait. 3, 5, 10, 15 years. And suddenly they're granted refugee status to come to America as part of an annual allotment or quota that we do. Africa gets the biggest quota. It has 7.6 million registered refugees. So we authorized 40,000 to come in 2023 from Africa, from all over the continent. Then we also had special conditions, which actually let more Africans in than the 40,000, which would be what would happen in South Africa's case. It's a special case. So the number wouldn't be restricted to that quota. It would be outside that quota. So when you come here, if you're physically able to, we expect you to work. Why? Because we let you come here so you have safety. We don't expect you to live off of government assistance forever. We expect you to work. Also, in a perfect world, if the conditions that led to your refugee status and coming to America were alleviated, in theory, you should go home. The program can be suspended to not let more people in. And in theory, Congress could actually say the crisis is over, go home. But in practice, no one goes home. No one ever goes home. Refugees don't leave. They become part of the fabric of America and in many cases contribute their unique cultural identities and norms and practices into our country. Sadly, some of them bring their barbaric practices with them, like slicing off the genitalia of prepubescent girls and labia and stitching up their vaginas. So they suffer immense pain in having sexual intercourse, so they will be chaste and only be used for breeding by their partners. Yeah, that happens. And that is sick. It's twisted. It's so many women and girls that threaten this country because of mass immigration, legal and otherwise, of people with bizarre, barbaric, medieval cultural practices, which are not part of Islam. They're part of cultural practices in places like Nigeria and Chad and Sudan and Somalia and Eritrea and Yemen and Egypt, which barbarically harm women and girls. We don't want that here. It's not welcome here. But unfortunately, that comes to our shores because of our generosity. And then girls born in this country are put at risk by their barbaric parents and their idiotic medieval cultural practices. And if people don't like what I have to say about that, then they can go watch something else. We're talking about refugee status and entry into America, not entry into the DRC, not entry into Egypt. Egypt can set its standards for who it lets in as a refugee or who it lets in as an immigrant. So can the DRC, but so can America. All these are sovereign nations, and that's how it works, folks. That is how it works. All right? All right, so what's going on in the chat over here? Yes, that still happens. 650,000 women and girls in this country are at risk of that happening. In America, it's been known as the cutting season. So what happens is these immigrants from these places that are backward know that if they practice this here in America, they could be arrested for child endangerment, sexual assault, harming a minor, things like that, state-level charges in different states around the country. Now, some doctors practice it here. Strangely enough, it's not even illegal in every jurisdiction. I participated in trying to help get a campaign going here to stop this barbaric practice. And if people don't like my view on it and say, well, that's our culture, well, good. Take your culture back to Yemen. Take your culture back to Egypt. Don't bring it here. You're not welcome to come here and pervert the norms of the society. That's not something we accept. Not something we accept. Yeah, so anyway. Paul says, thanks for the subscription. Well, someone else did, and I didn't sponsor. Folks, let me be clear about something, okay? YouTube sets a lot of the standards. I have no control over it. So, for instance, YouTube, for a long time, I didn't monetize my videos unless they were 5 minutes or longer, and never when it dealt with someone's tragedy or misfortune, in other words, with death or something like that. Never monetized that because I didn't think it was right. I didn't want you watching adverts for 5 minutes for a 3-minute video. It seemed grossly unfair. However, YouTube continually changes their business model and they make it more difficult to have things like that. To be fair, they're providing these servers free of charge. They're providing my account free of charge. They need to make money. I appreciate that. But on advice from Byron Shepard on one of my previous trips to South Africa, when my videos were performing very poorly, my authenticity and my genuine desire to prevent people from suffering through adverts for no reason ran into the wall of reality. Byron said, Chris, you have to monetize all your videos or they won't promote them. And he was right. He was correct. I did an experiment and I looked at the same topic and I put videos up with similar topics, and a video that did not have advertising would get a couple hundred views. A video that had advertising set on it had thousands of views. So he was correct. So I moved to my own model of violating my own rule. Now, there's still a few videos that I won't monetize, just out of principle. But the bottom line is the ad goes in there. Now, YouTube continually changes this model. In January of 2024, I think it was, I could be wrong, might have been before that, it was January 2024, YouTube announced that they were going to they were going to put adverts on any channel they wanted, even channels that aren't monetized. So if a channel's not monetized and YouTube plays the video, guess who gets 100% of the revenue from that video? YouTube. I mean, to be fair, it's their platform, so why not? Why not? But to be fair to the content creator, that sucks. If you draw the crowd, if you get people there, but you don't get anything for it, that's unfair. Your time is valuable. So now YouTube just recently in the past few weeks has changed their model again. Now they're consistently pestering content creators saying, hey, we can put the ads in for you automatically. Hey, we can put the ads in for you automatically. Hey, we can put the ads in for you automatically. If you ignore it, then I ignored it and I noticed my video started dipping. And people are saying, I didn't get notified about your channel. I didn't know about your video. I didn't get this notification. Well, yeah, because YouTube stopped promoting my video because I wouldn't let them put ads in. So the purpose here is to inform as many people as possible around the globe about what's happening in global events and global news, and have cogent conversations with people of interest that people want to listen to. The smaller the audience, the less likely it is to get big names. So what we do, ladies and gentlemen, is we now allow them to put the ads in there. So I saw some people moaning and whining about that. Well, you're not paying for the content. The ads are irritating. Well, you've been watching television for 50 years with ads, but what do? Rail at the television? Damn it, quit putting those ads on there. Some people just put it on mute. I got a little button right here. Mute. I can turn the mute button on and I don't have to listen to ads. So anyway, you can also skip the YouTube ads after the 15 seconds or 10 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever the bumper says. So that's what's going on with that, okay? So I hope that people understand that better. Countryside, fresh eggs, milk from local farmer. Okay. Okay. Okay, now you don't understand, Tractor Champ. You said after the first year with the green card, you relocate to another place. I never said that. I don't know where you're inferring that from. I don't know the status on that, but we don't ankle chain people to where they arrive. What you do lose is the support of the system, and I don't know if you've got reporting requirements as a refugee. I don't know that once you're in the country, what your obligations are. So I suspect you're allowed to move. Why would we keep you in the same place? Jobs come and go. If we're expecting you to work, you may need to move somewhere to find another job. Or whatever. So my expectation would be, but I can't confirm 100%, is that you arrive here, they put you in a place where they have sponsorship, that I know, based on Homeland Security, and you decide you want to move. I don't know why you can't move, but and it has nothing to do with the 1 year. You just have to apply within 1 year for a permanent residency card. All right? All right. Yeah, we have a huge need for commercial drivers in this country. Yep. No, I'm not getting the flu. I've got some congestions because I haven't had a shower. I'm up early because I didn't finish my interview, and then I had to wait. It took half an hour to load 40 minutes to load that video last night, the interview with Ike Kamalo. And so that took time, so I couldn't go to bed until that was loaded. And then I got up early, and I'm being interviewed in an hour and 20 minutes myself on another program, which isn't live, it's recorded. And when I get the link, I'll show you where it's at. And then I had a guest scheduled for this morning. We're unable to do it. We had to reschedule that or cancel that. So that's what's going on here, okay? Okay. Yeah, Arctic just gave some obvious advice here. They're not going to put you in a place where you have to have 150,000 a year and you only own 80,000. That's just stupid. That's just stupid. Not going to do that. See, guys, I mean, you have to use common sense when it comes to refugee program. Why in the world would we have a law that's been in place for 45 years? 45 years. And 3.1 million people from around the world have been relocated from Vietnam, from the DRC, from Yemen, from everywhere, Afghanistan, to the United States. In 45 years, 3.1 million people. Why in the world would we have a program and then let people fail? We don't set a program up to have you fail. That doesn't make any sense. So you got to use common sense here. You're a guest of the United States until you become a citizen or you go home. Simple as that, because of the circumstances you find yourself in. Yeah. Peter says, I wonder how old people are that ask the same things over. Peter, the people that ask questions run from the age of 20 to 70, roughly. 20 to 70. They're not all old people, if that's what you're implying. Okay, what else? Yeah, having a family doesn't put you in front of the queue. Doesn't put you in front of the queue. Not having a family doesn't put you in the back. Your circumstances are what matter. And Arctic is correct. After you've been here for 5 years legally and successfully and stayed out of trouble and you haven't defrauded the government to get here, then you can apply for citizenship. Thank you for the 140 Rand, Lynette. No one else gave a super chat. Daniel says, I sound very relaxed. I hope I'm okay. Yeah, I'm all right. Ben says, sorry to hear it. No, stuff happens, man. No, Virtual Western Cape, I'm not aware that having a family here already gives you any leg up or doesn't give you a leg up. I can't answer that question. I'm not aware that it does, because it's tied to you, not to other circumstances. As I said before, it can have a role potentially in where you relocate to if you come to America under this program, because they want you to be successful. All right, what else did I miss here? Arctic's doing a good job straightening people out here, okay? Yeah, see, look, the sponsorship of green cards, it doesn't work as straightforward as you think it is. I can't sponsor anybody for the green card. I can't even sponsor people to come here who are relatives. I have relatives that are foreign nationals. I can't sponsor them for immigration to America. However, if I won the visa lottery and came here, I can chain migrate to 25 people. It's a stupid system. It's unfair to Americans. Anyway, what else? What is this? Let's see if that works. Okay. I don't think that works. Oh, it did work. I'll be darned. Okay, sorry, too early, too much Afrikaans. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, I think we're caught up on that now. Oh, it's a little confusing. People start with crypto. I'm like trying to figure out what's going on in the chat there. Okay. Okay, so I missed a few people here. Again, we were supposed to do a broadcast today. My apologies for not doing that. There's no clickbait here. Some things just don't work out, folks. Some things just don't work out. I couldn't find any tents, although I should go to the Bass Pro Shop and walk around and show you the tents. Approved on the visa lottery, yet been unemployed. The visa lottery has nothing to do with you being unemployed. Oh yeah, Bass Pro Shop has some sick tents, and I did a stream from Bass Pro Shop, or Cabela's, I think it was. Was it Cabela's? Let's see if it was Cabela's. A couple years ago. No, it's not Cabela's. No, Bass Pro Shop's not. I know I did these videos. Why does the search find that? I did these things. It's weird. Can we hear some music? I never. Okay, Charles. Feel free to mention whatever you want, but thank you for the 300 Taiwanese dollars there, Pale Dragon. True, you are the best, truly. Well, thank you for that. Go to REI, not his suggestions. What are you talking about, Micheline? Go to REI. REI is way overpriced. I know. I'm a member and have been a member of the REI co-op for 30 years. Yes. And they used to have a very generous credit card, but then they screwed members by switching it to another bank and not giving us our check anymore. Now you only get a store credit. So now I don't shop at REI very much. Ironically, since they put an REI almost in my neighborhood. No, Chaos Juggler. I fished when I was a kid, but it's a boring activity. I don't find it interesting at all, so I don't go. Yeah, so I don't fish anymore just because I don't have that kind of patience to sit around. It's all right, Fleshing. I have to look and see what I did in Super Bowl. I had some tough ones because two teams let me down. Sharks and Stormers should have won their game, and they wussed out on me and screwed up. So I picked Utah to win. They lost New England. I picked Seattle to win by 5, and I got that 2 points. Picked Houston to lose. San Diego let me down. Picked New Orleans. I got 2 points. And Old Glory got beat by the Los Angeles team. Shocker. 98 points scored in that game. 54-44. I did pick Benetton. I won that one. I picked Glasgow. It was easy. I did pick Bristol, and I got spanked there. I picked the Sharks to win. They lost. I picked Bath to win. They got it. So, yeah, but what about, what's the one you're saying about the Osprey? Yeah, I did pick the Osprey by 7. I took a chance, and the Scarlets came through and won, so that sucks. So it's a mixed bag. I actually, ironically, got a lot of match points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 match points, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 6. Not the best weekends. That's a good batting average, but that's not good for Super Brew. I prefer to be 80%, but it's tough to do that. It's a tough weekend. The problem is I'm playing too many competitions. I've got Super Rugby, I've got URC, I've got MLR. It's tough to keep up on all these different sports leagues. So, okay. Just watched Neil deBeer Sunday report, and he mentioned that military attaché was asked to leave the USA by the USA government. I have no information on that. You talking about the South African military attaché? So we know now only $10,000 in the USA. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Lynette. What did I miss? Okay. Yes, Renata, I don't know who your friend is, but Minneapolis is full of former refugees. It's full of Somalis. It's full of Hmong. It's full of Vietnamese. Yeah. Minnesota is a very leftist, bizarre state, a bizarro state. And, yeah, I don't know why people want to live there. It's freaking cold. And but anyway. Why are you telling people not to go to Cabela's or to Bass Pro Shops? They weren't recommendations. I was just telling people about them. I didn't make any recommendation, Michelin Star Diner. Is there somewhere I can go, for example, site to compare cost of goods and services USA versus South Africa? I don't know, Super D, if there is. I mean, I don't know why you're worried about that. Why that would, okay, so I'm not going to pick on Super D, but let me just put this in perspective, folks. Folks, why do you care about what it costs to live in America? Why do you care? I'll tell you why you care. Because you're not a refugee. Because you're sitting here making a value judgment, which is your prerogative. Well, will I have it better in America? I will have it better in South Africa. That means you're not a refugee. That means your life is not in peril. If you have the flexibility to debate about whether it's better to be in America or be in South Africa, then you don't want to be a refugee. You want to immigrate. You're not welcome as an immigrant. We don't take immigrants for the most part. We take exceptions, people with high skills. But that's not the purpose of this program. So if you're asking that question, and I'm not picking on anybody, I'm just stating a fact. If your value judgment, well, let's see, will I have domestics? Can I buy a house? Can I do this? Then your life's not in jeopardy. You're not in peril. You're simply destination shopping. Be honest with yourself. You're destination shopping. If those are your questions. Because people who are desperate, whose life is in jeopardy, who are in peril, are not going to sit around and wonder about this and quibble about this. Maybe the problem is you've had too much time to think about this. You know, you're not being chased by artillery rounds landing all around you, your house on fire, people executing people in your village, and you flee with what you can carry on your back and get across the border to a safe haven. And now you register refugee and you pray that someone will let you come to their country. So that's not the case for South Africans. So we have South Africans who are, well, look, don't take this as an insult, but the reality is that people are destination shopping. Is it better in Miami or in Durban? Is it better in Benoni or in Baltimore? You're destination shopping. Now, I appreciate people that say they're committed, they want to come here as a refugee, and they're just trying to curious, and that's fine. Then you need to do some research. Look this stuff up. I mean, I don't know that there are sites that are dedicated for that specific purpose. This program concept never existed until February 7th, and the program itself doesn't exist yet. So, Garrett says Bass Pro and Cabela are my favorite stores. Yeah, they are pretty cool. Hey, Iron Brian. Good to see you there. Stella 4. Fishing is boring. Look, I mean, some people love the fish. I just don't find it that compelling. Sai says thinks I'm disappointed in reference interview. No, Sai, I'm not disappointed in reference interview. I mean, interviews aren't always possible. People have other commitments, other obligations, or they overcommit to something. I'm just I'm a little annoyed at the behavior of some people in South Africa. Not my potential guests, but people in South Africa. And it's unrelated to the interview. It's related to a number of things that have been happening recently, and I just find it annoying. So what happens if you fail the citizenship test? Well, what did you see, Renata? I don't know how you fail the citizenship test. They ask you like a dozen questions. They're easy. We've taken the citizenship test, a mock citizenship test on this program, unrelated to this refugee program, many times. Do you have a Beast PC? Yes, I do have a Beast PC, Salty. This is a custom-built gaming machine because I invested $2,300, so about 50,000 Rand into this computer when I was making no money at all on the channel because I used my laptop and it was using Wi-Fi. That proved to be a problem. I'm getting all kinds of difficulty with the signal, and it was a jerky broadcast. Plus, the webcam on the laptop sucked because webcams on laptops suck in general. So I switched to my old PC, which I've had since 2008, and maybe a little bit after that I bought that one. And remember, I started doing this in 2020, so maybe it was 2014 I bought that. No, it was 2015 I bought that PC. So that one was So that was 5 years old when I started doing it. And the problem is that the video card was built into the motherboard because it was cheap factory put together machine at HP. Nothing against HP, but you save money by putting a video processor on the motherboard, but you limit their capability. So having guests on the program, it couldn't handle all of the processing for video. So I finally, after broadcasting for several months, went ahead and custom built, or I didn't build it myself, I used to build them, ordered a gaming machine. And so this one had the highest end card on it, and it had a processor. So it's now 4 years old. This computer's 4 years old. And let me see if I can find what the specs are. We've gone through this before. Let me see my folders here. iBuy Power. I don't think it's in a folder here. Yeah, I think it's in buying. So, let me go to the folder where I think it's at. It's in this folder here. And the specs are here. I bring it up occasionally, so I can just go back to 31 December 2020 is when it was. Okay, getting there. 2021, getting close. Come on, load up faster. Okay, 2020. There it is, right there. December 31st, 2020. Okay, I got this from iBuy Power, and it came with the following. Okay, so it's a Intel i9 10900F processor, 10 by 280 gigahertz, 20 megabytes level 3 cache, 32 gigabyte of RAM, DDR4 3000, So I wish I got more, but that's enough. And I got an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 Ti 8GB VR ready video card, which was at the top at the time. The motherboard is an Asus Prime Z490P, so with Wi-Fi, ARGB header, and USB ports and slots. Yeah, I got an 850 watt power supply, got as big as I could get in here, and that came with a terabyte solid state drive, and then a 2 terabyte disk drive for the second one. It's platter drive. So yeah, so that's yeah. So I had it custom built, and yeah, it cost me $2,300. Thank you, Quentin, for your membership. Yeah, so that's the gaming machine I built. So I'm already finding that I've outdid it. I already had to replace the cooling system because it was only a 240, not a 360. Thank you. Somebody give away memberships. Oh, someone gave memberships. I got to turn that off. Yeah, so I've already had to update that. Also, I installed some software and it corrupted my registry. And every time I loaded, it kept loading a temporary. So I had to get one of my viewers to help me with that. That was a crisis last year. And he helped me get through it. And we cleaned up the registry and got rid of that mess and fixed it. But what a mess that was. And then the CPU was overheating. It was hitting record high temperatures and was in danger of melting down. So I had to, I installed the new 360 cooling system for my processor myself. But once I mounted it and went to hook the cables up, the cables that iBuyPower connects are not standard cables inside a PC for the motherboard. They created their own. Well, I didn't have those connectors and I didn't have time to screw around with it. So I got a Marine who knows how to do computers, install it for me. And it's been perfect since then. So the intent is to keep the machine going longer. I hate changing PCs. Most people do. Changing a mobile phone is easy these days. It simply incorporates and moves everything over. Not so easy on a PC. So I hope to keep using this for as long as possible. But I've been using it now for 4 years. So it's done me well. So if I divide the $2,200 into 4 years, that makes it $550 a year. Divided by month, that makes it about $40 a month. Divided by day, a little over $1 a day to use this computer. Yep. So there you go, Salt. Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question? Jacksonville from 2005, 2008. An awesome time and good experience. You weren't there straight through from 2005, 2008, were you, David Delport? Because don't you have to leave after a certain period of time? Well, I don't play many games right now. I don't have time. I'm working 15, 18 hours a day trying to bring stuff to people's attention. But I have, on my computer, I have Hearts of Iron 3, Age of Empires 2 and 3, Diablo 2 Resurrected, Medieval War, Age of Empires 3, Stellaris. Yeah, these are all games I play, but not much these days. Too busy with so many other things. Too many other things. So, yeah, that's the situation with that. So, does that help? Woken by gunshots. House is in danger of burning down. Lost 2 neighbors' house to fires. That's crazy. That's crazy. I-9. Overkill. I don't think so. I don't run into any processing problems. Chris is speaking French because I'm speaking tech. So Salted thinks I have overkill. No, I got a good price on it. You get the best you can for what you decide. That was the second fastest processor that was available when I bought it, and the price had dropped by like almost 50%. So why not? Gifted memberships coming through. Okay. Esther says, as Refugee, I don't have a choice, but with my skills, things might change in my favor. Nope. Nope. I've said this a million times. We don't give a flying flip what your skills are for Refugee. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with it. See, you guys are making false assumptions. Where do people get these assumptions from? Why would you think? See, you don't understand the purpose of Refugee. I've explained it over and over again, and I just explained it a short while ago. Now this is a message just came up, so it's not an old message. I've explained this over and over again, unless you just walked into the conversation. You don't get special advantage because you have skills. You don't get special advantage because you're a woman or because you're a man, because you're straight, because you're gay, or because you're trans, or because you're blue, or because you're purple. You get the status based on the situation. an individual case of being persecuted, or a group of people being persecuted for being Jewish or being Armenian or being Bosniak or being whatever you might be. And then a category of people is given that protection. So your skills are not germane. They're germane on arrival. Oh yeah, heck yeah. If you're a registered nurse, you damn skippy, you're gonna find work like that. If you are a dental technician, you're gonna find work like that. You got to get certified and make sure your qualifications match the U.S., but you're gonna find work. But it doesn't put you in front of the queue. If it does, then we're being dishonest with our refugee program. Because the refugee program is not an immigration program. You guys are confusing immigration with refugees. Stop, full stop. This is not immigration. Your skills don't mean jack shit. Your wealth doesn't mean jack shit. Your poverty doesn't mean jack shit. It all means jack shit. What matters is whether you're being persecuted or your life is in jeopardy. It's simple. Don't think you get a special advantage because you got 9 kids. You couldn't keep it in your pants. That doesn't give you special status. Don't think you get special status because you're a lesbian. That doesn't give you special status. Don't think you get special status because you are a nuclear physicist or you're the one scientist we need to finish the mission to Mars for Elon Musk. That isn't going to give you special status. Not under a refugee program. It may help you with immigration. We may need people with those skills to say, hey, come on over. You want to immigrate here? Sure. Spend your $40,000 for lawyers and come on over as an immigrant. Yeah, but not for a refugee, folks. Stop confusing refugee with anything else. It's not an immigration program. You are not immigrating to America. Yes, in effect, you do come here, but you're not immigrating. So anyway, I don't know how much clearer I can make that. I really don't. Now, if someone gets in the program, they go, well, Chris, you were wrong. You lied to me. I told them that I'm a nuclear physicist. And they said, we're going to put you in the front of the queue. And I got to come over. So you're wrong. Okay, fine. Prove me wrong. My feelings won't be hurt. Just being honest with you. Yeah, if you were a member and you talk crap in this chat, you're still going to get punished. Okay? We don't listen to racism or bigotry. Yep. Please like the channel. That would be great. Thank you very much for that. Preemptive redundancy, always the better option if affordable. Get the best option for yourself and then stop looking. Exactly, Rory. That was my intent with the computer. I really, really wanted a good video card, and I got a fantastic video card. This thing is great. And NVIDIA does a great job updating the software. They also have great software that modifies your camera, your stream, and your microphone. I don't really use it, but I have it. Yeah. Yeah, Charles, skills will help you integrate, but they're not going to pay your way. It's not going to be your freight to get in the country. Yeah, okay, Tomahawk, that's not a news story. I got to make a video on that just because, but that's not a news story, okay? So the problem is the media. I found that story, so let me talk about that. Okay, hang on a second here. Where is that at? I think it's in here. Let me see if I found that. Or is this, I'm going to see if this is news I've already done. I think this is news I've already done, so I want to make sure I don't get rid of it. Throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think I've done all this news already. Yeah, okay, I don't need that. That. Okay. I think it's a different one. Hang on a second. I think it's a different window. So I found that story about the cutting ties with Sandef. That's a non-story. Okay, let me explain to you why. Here it is. Yeah, it's in the Sunday Times. U.S. has cut ties with South Africa. This is not news. This is the media that don't know anything about what they're talking about. Okay, Sabelo Skiti wrote this, and nothing against Sabelo Skiti, but this isn't news, buddy. This was in effect on January 20th. Memo dated March 13th directs that in accordance with executive order signed by President Trump, all foreign aid and assistance offered to South Africa be suspended. U.S. has cut defense, military assistance cooperation ties with South African National Defense Force, an internal memo seen by the Sunday Times. Okay, first off, why is the Sunday Times seeing an internal memo? Somebody is guilty of espionage. Someone is guilty of espionage and sharing an internal memo. That's defense information that is protected under the Espionage Act. So, folks, if you think you can only go to jail for disclosing classified information, no, you can go to jail for disclosing defense information. During the Gulf War, Albert Sombele, a Zairean refugee who came to America and became an American national, was serving in the U.S. Army as a non-commissioned officer in Baumholder, Germany. For whatever reason, Albert Sombele's feelings were hurt and he didn't like things. So when we sent troops to Kuwait, not to Kuwait, excuse me, to Saudi Arabia, to defend Saudi Arabia, he decided he was going to make some money off of it. So he went to the Iraqi consulate in Frankfurt, which is guarded and spied on by the German intelligence services. And he went there. He tried to make contact with the Iraqis. And the Germans notified us of it, so the Americans set up a sting operation. And we had an American who spoke Arabic. He was a counterintelligence officer. And they set up a meeting with him. And he went to the meeting, and all he gave them were the technical manuals, which are not classified. You can actually get them, by the way. You can get these manuals if you do a Freedom of Information Act, or you buy them from the government printing office. But he took the technical manual, which you can buy. Okay, it's not classified, but it has information about the protective mask, the M17 protective mask that we wear for chemical warfare. And he took the filters that go inside the mask, and I think he took a mask shell. And he took it with him, and he offered to sell it to the Iraqis. He got 34 years in prison. I think he just got out of prison. 34 years in prison for defense information. So whoever gave that memorandum to Times Live is subject to imprisonment, unless the government authorized release. So let's be clear about that right now, okay? So the memo is from the State Department directed to Aaron Harding, Chief Financial Officer of America's Defense Security Cooperative Agency, which is an entity of U.S. Department of Defense. Directs that in accordance with executive orders signed by President Trump, all foreign aid and assistance offered to South Africa must be suspended. It includes a directive that any South African military personnel in the U.S. for training be sent home as soon as possible. All right? So please ensure this guidance is widely disseminated. Now, the problem with this is that these people in the media know nothing about what they're talking about. So let me explain something here. Sunday Times cannot establish the extent of cooperation and aid South Africa receives from the U.S., but the letter mentions it. Really, you couldn't establish this. Let me show you how hard this is to establish. You ready for this? Okay, all right. So let's go to Google, and you're going to watch this with me, okay? Let me see. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Okay, I typed in security assistance to South Africa because this is security assistance, not security cooperation. U.S. foreign assistance by country. We go here. This is South Africa. Okay, so let's go over here. All activities. Okay. So I'm looking for here. It's not going to show up here. I thought that would be where I could find it. Okay. Let me see. Top sectors. It's not there. Funding source, Department of Agriculture. These are all the programs that we give money to South Africa. I'm looking for any DoD entries here. So what I'm trying to say is that this is not hard to prove, although in this database apparently it is because we give more frickin' aid to South Africa than you can shake a stick at. Look at this, all AID stuff. Okay, let me go all the way to the end and see what we got here. Okay. Should fall here because it's not that much. It's probably $1 million a year. It used to be $1 million a year. These are all negative balances here. Okay, well that's proving not to be helpful. So let me just do this. Let me just do it this way because I'll call a specific program. Okay. I'm at International Military Education Training Fund. Okay, I'm at. Let's see. Well, that doesn't say. Damn it. I'm at funding. Now, if I had access to the databases, which I used to have. Okay. South Africa has been a recipient of foreign assistance. There is no readily available information indicating specific IMET funding allocations for South Africa in recent years. Well, it used to be $1 million a year. So military assistance, there we go, State Department. I'm at, let me see, military assistance. Let's see if one of these sites has it. Okay. That's not it. That's the same. All right. This one. Okay, here we go. Well, this is old. Okay, this is old. So that goes back to 2005. Yeah, apparently they're not making it readily available. So I can see why they can't find it readily available. But they could have asked. I could have told them. But they don't bother to ask me. They simply write about me and not ask me. But international military education and training, foreign military financing, foreign military sales, bilateral, multilateral peacekeeping operations. These are all standard programs that are done around the world. And they're trying to explain what it is here. U.S. government cannot be reached for confirmation. Further details of the memorandum. Well, they could have asked someone who knows what they're talking about, like me. They could have contacted me. But they don't bother to do that. Yeah, so anyway, this is not news, folks. This is not news. This is not news. I mean, this all ended on January 20th, so they're making it out like it's a big deal. So they talked to Cobus Murray, and he's a shadow minister for defense because probably the ANC wouldn't bother to talk. He says, while we don't rely heavily on the U.S. for military defense-related capabilities, any drastic change will impact negatively on our defense capabilities. Our relationship with Boeing and Lockheed Martin, joint military exercise, training, exchange, military staff will be negatively affected. Indeed, it will. We traditionally have at least one South African officer at the Army War College at any given time, like right now. So that person would have been told to go home. They would not have been able to finish the Army War College. It would have been a terrible waste because they're over halfway through their academic year and now they're going to have to go home. Unless they got an exemption, which it doesn't look like there's any exemptions offered. There'll also be NCOs in training in different programs around the country and other officers and, in our basic courses, engineering courses, infantry courses, and so they're going to be sent home. And that's unfortunate. International military education is grant money that we give to poor countries. South Africa is not a poor country as a country, but it gets grant money. And we allow your military personnel to come to our institutions and we pay for it. They give them a stipend to live off of, and your countries often give them one too, but we give them a stipend. We pay for their tuition because it costs money to attend these courses. And we sponsor them. And they come over here, typically for the Army War College, for example. We get people from all over the world who come here. These are countries that are where English is not the first language, and South Africa can or cannot be included in that, depending on which student comes. They usually come here in April, and then they spend April, May, June, July gelling. They go through a course where they're taken out so they can get a driver's license, told about how to get a driver's license, told about how rentals work here and buying property and things like that. They get cultural assimilation classes, not assimilation, but cultural affinity classes. So they take them to baseball games. They take them to Philadelphia on field trips. It's really cool. They come over with their families oftentimes, and they get acclimated to America. And they get to know each other in this course. What the hell is going on over here? Somebody keeps writing to me. Excuse me. Oh, it's nonsense. Anyway, so they do that for a few months. And then the American students, there's about 75 to 80 international students and probably about 40 to 50 partake in that program every year. Then all the American students start showing up in August for a course that begins in August, September. And they go through this, 7-9-month course for the Army War College, 10-month course. Anyway, the international students tend to be an advantage because they already know each other. They know each other by first name. They've been hanging out. They go on lunches. They're going on trips together. So they tend to do things together. And then the Americans come. They all integrate in a course. Those people will be sent home. But this cooperation was ended. The money was ended on January 20th. So there wouldn't have been any more money. So those who are here wouldn't have been sent home. But this memo from March 13th, this is a consequence of the South African government acting the fool and acting stupid. So as a consequence, the South African government falsely claiming the United States is punishing South Africa. They sent this out. There's no more future cooperation. So that means the money is ended. So we can't keep people here. So they have to go home. Yeah. So it's not news. If we don't have money, we can't do defense cooperation. It's as simple as that. Defense Security Cooperation Agency is an organization that I worked through and under for years in Africa. And they provide training, they provide resources, they provide military equipment. Foreign military sales are when you buy military hardware from a defense contractor in the States, which has to be approved by the State Department and Congress over a certain amount. Congress has to approve it, like $25 million or specific weapon systems. Anything below that, then you can just buy it, and they don't have to just go with the State Department approval for export, arms export. And arms export includes training, not simply weapon systems. Then foreign military financing is money we give to countries like South Africa, Liberia, Botswana, so that they can buy goods and services, pay for training or buy equipment or get spare parts for their C-130s and things like that. So traditionally, South Africa has gotten IMET money, usually about $1 million a year, although I don't know what the figures in the last 10 years, but it used to be $1 million a year. And it was the largest or one of the largest recipients of IMET in all of Africa every year. But that money's off the table now. So anyway, so that's it's a non-story, folks. They're making a story out of something that's not real here. So I will make a video on it, though. Yes, Tabo and Becky joined the chat. That's true. And I did a video on that. And obviously, you're not watching my videos. What do I think general estimated time for I will be in a refugee program? I have no idea, cultured otaku. I have no idea. No, anyone that tells you they do either lies or they work for the State Department. Okay. Yeah, you got to keep it in your pants, Gadget. Super D says, I think there are people who are curious, fearful but curious. That's fair. I appreciate that. But a lot of people are acting as if they're going on holiday. A lot of people. I didn't say you were. I said a lot of people are. A lot of times when you raise a question or make a comment in chat, it gives me a chance to address the broader issue. And that's why I frequently say I'm not spanking the person who asked the question. Jonathan says the ANC went to the ICJ because they're against genocide. No, they're not. No, they're not. The ANC doesn't care about genocide. Did they join the case against Myanmar in the ICJ in 2018 with the Gambia? Nope. Have they taken Sudan to the ICJ for genocide in Darfur? Nope. Nope. Did they take the Rwandans to the ICJ for genocide? Nope. Have they taken the Chinese communists to the court for genocide against Uyghurs? Nope. The ANC doesn't care about genocide. The ANC cares about the money they got from Tehran to pay their bills and their fellow travelers in the Palestinian organization. They are bought and paid for. They are bought and paid for. No, you're wrong, Jonathan. They don't care about genocide. If they did, they would be consistent. They're not. They're not consistent. Lindy, what are we looking at here? Well, I went live because I was supposed to have a guest and we weren't able to work it out, okay? What's going on here? Correct info. New to the channel. What's your affiliation in South Africa? All right, let me get through the chat and I'll try to come back and answer that correct info. I've answered that a million times, okay? Let's try to see what's said here. What's with the bribe rookies? No bribe rookies today, folks. You just found out South Africa's strategic oil reserves depleted. I've been telling you that for years. I've been telling you that for years. See, this is what happens when people shadow ban channels. People don't get to hear cogent conversation and lucid analysis of problems before they become problems. The South African government sold off its oil reserves years ago to a BE contractor. So they don't even own the oil. They call them reserves, but they belong to a fund that's owned by a BE company. And the government pays them to maintain the oil reserves that they used to maintain on their own. So the oil is owned by a BE company, and the people get a fee to manage it for South Africa. And they've sold off the oil, apparently, so which is what I said they would do one day. Yeah, Goodbye Joe's are going too, from Tom McDonald. Odin's Viking. Esther says, thanks. You're welcome, Esther. My pleasure. Okay. Yes, one of my tulips is in Bicky, sad. It's kind of, it's given up. I don't know if I didn't water it enough. They're not really opening properly like the other one did. So anyway, can't have it all. What's Marius? So Marius, first off, yeah, I would appreciate you don't describe my guest as a dingbat. I wouldn't have a guest on if they were a dingbat. You don't know the circumstances, and I'm not willing to disclose them. Okay? Just my guest is not available. So let's leave it at that, okay? That's very inconsiderate. And Arctic, you're spot on, okay? Okay, what else you got here? Okay, Is to Boho back again? Corey gave me a super chat and I missed it. Okay, sorry. My apologies. Oh, this is frozen. That's why. My tab froze. I got to open up a new one. By the way, the Ike Kumalo interview is loaded up by itself. That took a lot of effort, guys. A lot of effort. It took a long time to load last night. Yeah. Okay, so funding. Okay, I got Lynette. Pale Dragon, I got. Corey, 35. I've sent you an email I've received from a green card lotto I received. No, I did not reply to them. Okay, Corey. All right. Okay, Gmail. Let's see. Open your correct account. Oh, I've been threatened again. 6 minutes ago, I've been threatened. Again, so I think we'll turn that over to SAPS, that threat that was just sent to me. Yep. I think we'll send that over to SAPS. Yeah. Anyway, I'm being threatened once again. I don't know why. Don't know why I'm being threatened. This broadcast, there's been nothing about South Africa. This has been about the refugee program. So I've been threatened again. So that's the fifth time this person has threatened my life. And I think it's time just to turn their information over to Interpol and to SAPS. Okay? Yep. I just received an email. So, Corey, I don't see your email, but I do see an email threat that arrived 6 minutes ago. Yep. Well, I don't know what SAPS would do, Odin. So they have an obligation to follow the law. So there you go. Anyway. Again, I don't know. Person has threatened me. I'll read to you what they said specifically. Person said, you don't learn, do you? Stop your false propaganda about South African Ramaphosa or you'll be canceled more like today. We are everywhere. Yep. That's part of the email. So they just threatened me again. So, I don't know. There's no false information about South Africa here. I'm not talking about South Africa. So, what is wrong with people is that they're evil and twisted people. Anyway. Yeah, people are just threatening people all the time. Look, I've been dealing with this for a long time. Well, people won't be held accountable. What will happen is that people like this will make a mistake and threaten the wrong person, and then people that do evil things will just do evil things to them. I'm not an evil person, so that won't be me. But yeah. Watching your broadcast live, have no adverts, only if already streamed. I try to. Okay, well, thank you for that. Will the next hit the ratings be on Snapchat? I don't know, Spikeron. I think it'll be on Instagram. Smart Alec. You're being threatened because you're too awesome. You give hope, not allow for minorities. Well, it's not just minorities, it's for all South Africans. Yes, Daniel, it does show you one thing. People are intimidated by it. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing that this person has threatened me previously. It's the fifth time now, at least, they've threatened me. And every time this person has threatened me, we just let it go. But, at some point, these people will become dangerous. They're a danger to themselves, but they're a danger to others too. Yeah. They don't like the truth. They never like the truth. The problem is that there's never any refutation of what I say. And in this case, I haven't even talked about South Africa, but I just got a threat because of this broadcast. It's called Sunday Musings. And I got a threat. Threatening my life because I am talking about financial things. I'm not talking about financial things. There's no discussion of that here. I'm answering people's questions. This wasn't supposed to be a stream about the refugee program. No, Petra, I'm not going to tell you who. That just gives the person the person is right now in the chat with their finger attached to their penis and stroking right now. They're so excited that they think they frightened me. Yeah, so no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Oh, Darty, it happens all the time. This isn't new. This isn't new. I don't know if the person's left-handed or right-handed. It could be left or right-handed, but clearly, got a little penis thing. It's the same sad, pathetic loser who every time puts a dislike, one of the dislikes on my videos every time. Oh, I'm aware of that article, and the person thinks that hasn't been done already. The person thinks that hasn't been done already. Do you think that hasn't been done? Yeah, and I know you're here listening, buddy. Yeah. Anyway. Do you see me looking concerned? I've done nothing wrong. I don't commit crimes. I don't harass people. I don't intimidate people. I don't abuse people. Nope, I don't. So that's the problem. These are abusive, racist, and bigots and heterophobes, and that really have issues. Yep. Anyway. Yeah, I heard that he said that, Ben, but I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's the case. All right, so Corey, I don't see your email. I'll go back and look again. I just happened to find that one. So let me see if anything else came in. Unless it's not under Corey. If it's under a different name, I mean, I've got a few messages here, but not seeing anything from Corey. Oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. Got you. Found it, Corey. Found it. Oh, that's a company, Gore. That's a company. Okay, hang on. Yeah, it's a private company. That's not from the government. They're trying to get you to sign up for this, and they make money from this. So. Yeah. Okay, Corey, what you've received there is from a private. This is not from the U.S. government. No, you're not losing any chance. The U.S. government doesn't contact you about the green card lottery. We don't do that. We don't come to you and say, hey, this is a third party that's trying to solicit your business. Okay, Corey, does that help you? Corey, you still here? Yeah. No. That's. Thank you for saying it to me. That's a company that's. There are people in business like the Canadian consultant who told people that the U.S. refugee program was cynical, that Trump was never going to do it, and that he questioned the motives of offering the refugee program. Well, I'm sure he did question the motives, because he then launched into his interview on, was it Newsroom Africa? I'm trying to remember. He launched into the interview as saying that, well, you should come to Canada, and we like immigrants in Canada, and we can get you there, and yeah, for a fee. That's fine, dude. You're welcome to do that. That's your business. I'm not trying to mind your business, but don't lie about the U.S. refugee program. People don't pay for that program. It's lies. Yeah, Marius. No, I know what you're getting at there. Yeah, it's only open for a short period every year, and you apply for the U.S. Customs and Immigration Service. Scams, scams, scams everywhere. Do not pay to enter the lottery. Correct. You don't pay to enter the lottery. You go online. You find the information from the U.S. Customs and Immigration Service. They do it every year. Although probably under Trump, that program will be eliminated, I suspect. If he can eliminate it, he'll get rid of it. Yep. Don't you think an update interview with Dr. Shaw from UCS? I hadn't thought about that, James. That's a good question. Hadn't thought about it. Yeah, he had all his facts mixed up. It's hilarious watching these interviews. Yeah, because he said asylum. It's not asylum. We're not offering asylum to anybody. You can't get asylum from South Africa. You can only get it in America once you're here legally. So, I mean, look, that's just rubbish. The guy didn't know what he's talking about. The fact that Newsroom F gave him airtime shows you there's a concerted propaganda effort to mislead people. Just like this thing that the U.S. has ended military cooperation with South Africa. Well, that ended when we froze foreign aid. All that cooperation comes with foreign aid. We can't do cooperation with people when we can't give them money. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, anyway. All right, guys, I have to drop off, not because of I don't want to talk or because I don't want to answer your questions, but rather because I'm being interviewed in 27 minutes. I need to put a proper shirt on for the interview and get ready for the interview. So I'm being interviewed by a site here in the States that wants to talk to me about who I am. It's not live. It's recorded. Once it's up, I'll tell you where it's at. Yeah, so they'll give me the link. All right. Okay. So to the guy who's... there's really something wrong with you, my friend. You're not my friend. I'm just saying that to be polite. There's really, really something wrong with you. I've told you this before. Stop sending me threatening emails, or I simply will turn your threatened emails over to the police. I've done nothing wrong. Your false claims and lies about me and your postings on your pathetic little Facebook site that nobody goes to, just stop. Stop. I don't know why you're so obsessed with me. Look, I mean, dude, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I don't date dudes. So, I mean, if you're looking for a date, I'm not the person you want to hook up with. You want to hook up with someone else, you know. It's not me that you're looking for. These are not the drones you're looking for. Besides, am I that attractive to dudes? I don't know. You should, I mean, if you're sweet on me, I appreciate it. But if you want to come on to me and chat me up, the way to chat me up is not to threaten me. I mean, dude, who gets turned on by being threatened, you know? If you want to hook up with me, then send me something sweet. You know, one of those intimate photographs, you know, maybe in your boxer shorts, posing like George Costanza, you know, like this. That might get my attention. Who knows? You know, it might swing the other way just for that. You never know. If you're attractive, you never know. So I don't know. Just saying. But honestly, threats are silly. And just stop it. Be an adult. Nothing I'm doing affects you. I don't know why you're so possessed. But anyway, so yeah. So to my admirer, be safe out there. Life's like a box of chocolates. Yeah. Life's like a box of chocolates. Anyway, I got to go, good folks. I'll be back with the news a little bit later on. So thanks for being here. And we'll catch you later, guys. Thanks. Yeah, and apologies for not having my guest on, but, you know, things don't always work out. Maybe in the future something like that can happen. But anyway, all right. Cheers. Bye-bye.